Uh-oh. Hey everybody. How you guys doing today? I hope everyone's doing well. Let's see who's here today. If you guys are hearing me okay, please give me a thumbs up. Just want to make sure that the volume's good. I know that there's already a bunch of you here today, so that's really cool. A bunch of regulars. Oh, something's falling here. Let me just fix this here so I don't have any technical issues with the hardware. Oh, not enough space. There we go. All right. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Addicted to Gear, the Sunday edition. If you guys hear me, please give me a thumbs up. And I want to welcome everybody that is here today. I'm Tony, and I'm Addicted to Gear. If you guys are new and you don't know what this channel is all about, it's basically about gear addiction and gear freaks. And everyone here probably has the same affliction, so we're all in it together, guys. And I want to welcome all the new people here. And I want to make sure that everyone is doing well. And I want to welcome you for another live show on Sunday. And thank you for getting up and joining me today. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have a lot of stuff to talk about. And I just want to make sure that you guys, one thing I want to say is that I usually go pretty long on these Sunday shows. So this Sunday, I'm just going to say the hard stop is at 11. All right. So if you guys have things that you want to talk about or questions that you want to ask, please don't wait till the end to do so. Otherwise, we're going to be running out of time, and that's never good. So let me say good morning to you guys that are here already today. So who do we have in the house here? Richard. Good morning. Jack Collins, Alan, Bruce. Paul's here today. Nice to see you, Paul. Fat Philosopher is here as usual. Who else do we have here? The Gospel of Mark. Good morning. Chill Note. Chill Note, I think you're new. I'm not really sure if I've seen you here before. If you're new, just type in new so we know that you are. Maz Electra, good morning. Wayne is here. And I'm sure a few more will be trickling in shortly. Billy Beers, nice to see you here as well. Cool Tunes Made Easy, nice to see you here. A lot of familiar faces, which is great. So here we have a bunch of people that are interested in gear. Obviously, I want to know if who has purchased new gear this week and what you've purchased, and I'll talk about mine as well. Good morning, Keith. Good morning, Tonefish. Thank you, Chill Note. The Charvel review was quite a while back, but yeah. It was a very cool guitar indeed. I like the Charvel models for sure. Hey Christian, hey Freddie. All right, so I'm just looking at the last comments because I always start from the top and I always find myself falling behind. So I'm gonna talk about answer the questions, the most recent ones. So here we have. Okay, Gospel of Mark, new gear alert. Sold 3 guitars and got a new PRS Core Custom 24. Was supposed to be here yesterday. Oh man, that's pretty cool. 3 guitars. So I assume you bought this new. Is this a new purchase or did you buy this secondhand somewhere? That's a really sweet guitar. I think you're going to be super happy with it. The thing that's really stressful is the waiting period until it gets there. You know, it's really like you want it. It's like Christmas. You can't wait to tear open those boxes and play with the gifts. But yeah, I'm sure it's going to be there soon. Hopefully when you get it, you'll be able to maybe post some images on your Instagram. I'd love to see it. I'm sure it's gonna sound fantastic. FedEx does suck. So does UPS. They're all I think lately they're all kind of falling behind with the influx of everybody still ordering stuff online. So Tonefish is not new, just changed my name. Okay, so what name were you going by before so we can recognize you? Quicksilver, how's it going? He says, what's up, Tony? I'm on an Uber, just rushing home. Take your time, man. Take your time. Cool. Glad you're watching even when you're not at home. Dan of New Jersey, good morning. Does purchased but not delivered gear count? I would say yes. We're gonna count that because it's a done deal almost, right? I mean, it just has to get there. Fat Philosopher says almost bought a weird looking SG copy of a Yamaha with clear pickguard. Eventually gave up on it. Never seen anything like it before. I wonder what model that was. Was it an old one? Like, did it look vintage, or did it look like a newer model? The PRS guitars are great, Mark. I don't know if this is your first PRS guitar, but I'm sure you're going to love it. If it's not your first, you probably already know. Quicksilver says, I just went to the guitar store to pick up a Moore 300 Lite, so I'm on an Uber now on my way back. That's pretty cool. I haven't tried the 300 Lite. I wonder how good it performs, how well it performs, how good, how goodly, how gooder. I'm not speaking English very well this morning. Cool Tune says, haven't purchased yet, but a Telecaster. And which one is lurking? What do you know about Player Series or go all out with American? So you're considering a Telecaster purchase. That's pretty cool. Look, my only advice to you is really to try them, because honestly, don't shop by price or, you know, by model name, like these model names that are determined by the marketing department to make it sound like it's so much better. Really just try them out and see which one actually stimulates you to play more. And that's the one you should buy, even if it's a less expensive model. You might be surprised. There's some like really good inexpensive versions of the Telecasters, which are, you know, great player guitars. And you know, just go into the store, play with your hand, you know, play with your ears, listen to the guitar with your ears and mostly your hands, and don't look at the price tag till later. Sometimes it's a surprise, and you actually look at the price tag and you're like, oh man, I got good taste. And now I know why they're so expensive. But sometimes you can actually get away with, you know, falling in love with a guitar that's actually less expensive. Fat Philosopher says, I changed strings today. You know, when you change strings, it really is a good feeling, isn't it? I was playing a guitar the other day, one of my Telecasters, and yeah, the strings were starting to sound rubber bandy. You know, when, especially in the E string, when the tone is gone. So I guess it's time for me to change strings on that one. So now Strat 5150 is Tonefish. Why did you change your name, man? I like the name Strat 5150, even though it took me a couple of shows to actually pronounce it properly. Is it copyrighted? Is the EVH Family Trust after you now for using the 5150 in your name? Just kidding. I'm sure they're not after you yet. Chill Note. Tested and played a Music Man Cutlass for the first time yesterday. I was impressed with the stainless steel frets, the pickups, and the thin neck. Yeah, I think that particular model does have a rather thin neck, but the Music Man necks, in my experience, are really comfortable. What I don't like, or what I didn't like with mine, was the width of the neck on like right at the nut. It was just a little bit too narrow for my hands, and that's what I ended up. That was the rub on that guitar. Otherwise, it was a great guitar. And because they don't finish the neck with any kind of poly, it's usually, I think they use just a layer, like a quick rub of gunstock oil and wax, and it feels amazing. But it was always a little bit more sensitive to humidity changes because it wasn't finished. And I would notice that like changes of temperature would affect it a little bit more. But they make great guitars. So guys, we're at show 59, one more to 60. I think we're gonna have to do some kind of a giveaway or something at 60 to celebrate. But I appreciate you guys continuously tuning in to all my shows, and I can't believe I've already done 59 shows. It doesn't seem like I have, but I guess I have. And I appreciate everybody supporting the channel, and if you're spreading the word, that's fantastic. I know that there's more and more subscribers every day, which is great. If you guys want to support the channel, obviously, like you guys already know, you can grab some swag at the bottom of the videos. This is more for people that don't already know this. So you can support the channel by buying a t-shirt or a sticker or a mug or whatever. And that goes to supporting the channel, obviously. And of course, there's the top chat. If you guys want to do that, you're more than welcome. And that is greatly appreciated too. So let's get back to the topics at hand. First of all, my chair seems to be sinking. I think I have to get a new office chair. It doesn't stay at the right level. I put it up and then slowly I start sinking. So if you see me like at this level by the end of the show, you know why. It's not because I'm physically shrinking. It's just my chair is I don't know. You get what you pay for, I guess. Darwin, good morning. Have you had the opportunity to try out the Boss Waza Air headphones? I just heard about them and they might be the perfect solution for me in my apartment for quiet practice. I have not tried them. I've seen a bunch of YouTubers playing them and saying how great they are. Like I'm pretty sure they're gonna sound good because whenever you're playing with headphones in a multi-effects unit, it sounds great because you get that full 3D immersive effect, and I think that's what they're going for, but everything's built into the headphones. So I'm pretty sure it'll sound great. I don't know if it's worth the money though. I think they're a little bit expensive, but it's hard to tell because, you know, obviously with the YouTube videos, you can't hear the sound. You just, you know, hear them saying how great it is, but you have to try it for yourself. But I think, like, you could probably get the same overall effect just plugging into your to a multi-effects unit with headphones, unless you really want the wireless functionality and you don't like the wire. Then you can always get yourself a set of, you know, wireless transmitter receiver, plug it into your multi-effects unit in a set of headphones. And you're basically getting the same thing. At the end of the day, it's probably going to cost you the same amount of money, though. So maybe the Waza headphones are the best way of doing it. So long story short, no, I haven't tried it. I'd like to, but I haven't. Hey, Cohen. Good morning. So the Gospel of Mark says he owns several PRS, or owned, I guess. Did you get rid of them, Mark, or you still have them? The owned leads me to believe that you don't have them anymore. So Alan says, new guitar. At last I have a Harley Benton Fusion 2 HSH. So how do you like it, Alan? And how come you decided to go with the HSH configuration? For me, the HSH is cool, but the middle pickup always sort of gets in the way. I find it's not so bad on a Strat because the other pickups are thinner, so you find a place to pick in between that doesn't interfere. But when it's a humbucker and a single coil, I find that I'm always hitting the pickup in the middle. And it kind of bothers me. And to be honest, I don't really use the middle pickup all that much. Let me just adjust my seat here because it's sinking. There we go. All right. Might have to do that a couple of times. So I'm holding the Gibson. This is the Gibson that I showed in the last video, and it's not a bad guitar. I'm liking it. I didn't adjust anything on it yet. I still have to do some. Still have to pull off the strings and play around with the bridge height a little bit. I'd love to get it just a little bit lower. The neck relief seems pretty good on this guitar. It's extremely low, actually. I might have to bring that up a little bit. Yeah, it plays pretty good. It's a good player guitar, man. So I'm having fun with that one. I also bought another guitar. You see it in the back, just there, right there. That's another Kramer, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. So Fat Philosopher says the guitar he was looking at, which was an SG, looked really old. Did it have the script Ibanez logo here? Because if it did, it probably was one of the older ones. And I know that at one point they were kind of copying a lot of other guitars, and the SG was one of them. Oh man, I think I left my cup of water upstairs. Oh well. I'm gonna be parched at the end of an hour of jabbering here. So Gospel of Mark says I've owned several PRS, love them. Alan says so the Harley Benton. That's what color did you get, Alan? Just out of curiosity. Seth says Gear Alert plecked my Strat at work this week. Where do you work, Seth, that you have access to a Plek machine? That's pretty cool. Frank's in the house. Good morning, Frank. And man, a lot of you have been shopping, I guess, since things are getting a little bit better with COVID, slowly getting better. I think a lot of people are now spending their money. I can see a lot of you guys have gone gear shopping. So Maz Lectra says awesome. New Gear Alert just bought a Black Star Fly 3 Misfits BT edition last night. That's the small like practice Bluetooth amplifier, if I'm not mistaken, from Black Star. How did it sound? Does it sound okay? I know a couple of companies now are coming out with these little like really micro amps to be able to practice at home. The one that I thought sounded better than most, at least from the videos, was the Yamaha, the little lunchbox. They have a 5 watt, a 20, and a 30 watt, I think. Those seem to sound pretty good, at least like in the videos. I don't know how they're being recorded, if they're being mic'd up, but I'm assuming that the small speakers, I mean, they can be bigger than 4 inches. You know, that's the challenge, is getting a good sound out of such a small speaker. Cool Tune says sold 3 guitars 2 years ago to buy the CE24 PRS, and so far very happy. The 24, I had a 24 myself, exactly the same model. And I ended up selling it because in those days, I think now they've changed this feature on some other guitars, but back in those days they had the rotary switch. The PRS guitars had 3 knobs, so it was a volume, a tone, and the last one was like a rotary switch instead of having a switch like this. So it was a 5-way, and you had to like click, click, click to get to the proper pickup positions. And I always thought that was kind of odd, and it was really time consuming because you couldn't just flick it and get into the right position. So if you want to go from your neck to your bridge pickup, you had to like almost remember where you were, because you can't really know where you are when it's a knob. I found that really awkward. I could have probably changed it and swapped and put in a switch, but I ended up getting rid of that guitar. Also, I didn't bond very well with a 24-inch scale length. I thought it was too long. I like the shorter scale length, the 245. That's why my guitars my PRS guitars are basically that scale length, which is like basically a Gibson scale length. I like those a lot. So Fat Philosopher says the Player Series are 3 pieces of wood. American are 2 or 1 piece. Yeah, there's that. I don't know how much of a tonal difference it actually makes, but yeah, they're definitely. If you're buying a guitar that has a clear top, then obviously when it's more than 1 or 2 pieces of wood glued together, you have more chances of seeing like weird things happening in the top. So usually a 2-piece top is nicest, or if you can get a 1-piece, but it's very difficult to get a 1-piece body these days. Those are the best if you're going with a clear, let's say a sunburst or something like that, or a sienna burst. If you're getting a solid color, it doesn't really make a difference because you're not going to see it anyways. Hey Brian, good afternoon. It's good morning here, but it's afternoon for you. You're in the UK. I am from Toronto. It says, well, good morning from Farden, UK. I am from Toronto, just on my amazing V100 from Vintage. What a guitar with Wilkinson Seth Lovers, help design PF. Yeah, I know who Seth Lover is. The vintage stuff is really good, I have to say. I like their guitars a lot, and I suspect that a lot of those Harley Benton guitars are probably coming out of the same factory, because the headstock on them are extremely similar. I would not be surprised if they are coming out of the same place. Cool Tune says anything I like is expensive. Yeah, it seems to be that way, doesn't it? Same here sometimes. So if you guys are following the news now that a lot of places are being vaccinated, and I think we're finally starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel, although it's still probably going to be a few more months till we actually feel a little bit more comfortable with all of it. I hope you guys are taking the opportunity to get vaccinated if you need to be. And with all of this, I was surprised to hear in the news that apparently the Summer NAMM show in Nashville is going to be happening in a live setting. That is like pretty brave, if you ask me, considering I think the show usually happens in July, which is like 4 months from now. Is it too soon? I don't know, guys. I mean, it's great that they're finally trying to have the shows again. I don't know what the turnout's going to be, because I think a lot of people might still be not comfortable with the idea of going out in public, at an event like that. I mean, there's a lot of people at these shows, and typically, I mean, the good thing about these shows is you get to finally like touch the guitars and play the guitars and stuff like that. That's why a lot of people come out of that show with what they call namthrax. They end up getting sick because everybody's touching the guitars, everybody's touching the same gear in small spaces. I mean, it's a convention center, but they're jam packed with people. So I'm wondering how that's going to turn out. I'm wondering if people might choose to sit this one out. One of the curious things that I heard was that it's gonna be a no-touch experience, whatever that means. I guess they're not gonna allow you to touch any gear. You're probably still gonna have to wear masks, and I think they were talking about like making more room, like wider aisles and maybe more spaces between the booth setups. But I don't know, man. I mean, there's a lot of people in those places, and that's not the best place to be in any circumstances if you're trying to stay away from germs. So I'm curious to see how that's going to pan out. I wonder if they're going to have like a plexiglass screen, a big plexiglass plate in front of all the booths so you can't get in. It's going to be like window shopping. I don't know how they're going to pull this one off, but I'm curious to see how that's going to pan out. Jumping to the bottom of the chat again. Sorry guys, I'm falling behind, so I'm just gonna jump here and there. If I missed your question, if you have a question that you want me to answer, just type it in again, and I'll see it. So Brian says, I'm initially from Toronto. I just received my first jab AstraZeneca. Zenka, I think that's how you pronounce it. I am fine, no issues, none of this BS the EU is saying. Okay, so, oh, AstraZeneca. Sorry, I didn't know. The AstraZeneca, yeah, a lot of people are nervous about the AstraZeneca vaccine because they say that it's causing some people to get blood clots. But in actual fact, the percentage is so low, it's actually lower than what people would normally get. You know, the percentage of people that would normally get blood clots normally, even without taking anything. You know what I mean? Like you have a higher, like women have a higher risk of getting a blood clot if they're taking birth control than getting the vaccine. So, yeah, I mean, you know, nothing is without risk. You can take a Tylenol and it's got risk factors. You know what I mean? You can take an aspirin and it's got risk factors as well. But I think the risk involved with something like that is so low that, you know, there's actually a lot more risk if you catch COVID than if you know, if you weigh the pros and cons. But yeah, some people are choosing to wait and they're choosing to shop around for the vaccine that they want and prefer to wait until something else comes around. I mean, I understand that. You know, for me, I don't really mind it. And even the fact that they're saying the AstraZeneca is less effective, it's not actually true. I mean, the way they're presenting the numbers is wrong. They're saying it's only 60% effective, which means that you would assume that you know, you have a 40% chance of catching the disease or the virus, which is not how it's actually calculated. So if you just look into it, you'll understand a little bit better. I don't want to turn this into a medical show, but I would just say take whatever is available and just make sure that you know, we try to avoid any other continuation of this mess. Paul saying, I expect a third wave and will be on it. I'm a guy who never ever bought a lottery ticket. Third waves are scary. I know they're talking about different types of variances now, so that's something that everybody's concerned about. And hopefully, if this vaccine works and a lot more people are going to be not able to spread what we have now, I think that's going to be the most important thing. Yes, we would probably get variations, but you know, as long as it doesn't turn into another pandemic, we'll be okay. I'm trying to think positive here, guys. Fat Philosopher says Randy Rhodes died 39 years ago today. So I guess we have to have a moment of silence for Randy. Definitely a fantastic guitarist. Many people loved what he was doing, and I think it's too bad that his life was cut short. He would have probably done some amazing things as he grew and evolved as a musician. But I mean, with the short time that he was here, he definitely made his mark. So that's something that we should definitely have a bit of respect for. What am I missing here? I think, let me just go back here. Maz Electric says, Frank Rack, man, sorry to hear that. So what happened to Frank? Sorry, I think I missed part of that thread. Let me just go back. I hope, oh man, Frank. Sorry, dude. Never easy. That's sad. I hate to hear news like that. And you know, when your mom passes away, you know, it's probably the most terrible thing you have to go through. My wife, she lost her mom and her dad this year, which was pretty rough, I gotta say. So my condolences, Frank. Hopefully you're doing okay, and hopefully your mom's in a better place. Hopefully she wasn't suffering with whatever happened, whatever circumstances happened. Yeah, unfortunately, life, it's not always roses. Dude. All right. Let's try and think about positive things, shall we? What was I saying? So I was kind of talking about the Summer NAMM, new gear. So a lot of you have got new gear, which is fantastic. So this one is my newest one. The Kramer back there is a new one as well. Still working on some different projects. I have the purple Telecaster. Still spraying that thing. It's not done yet. Got a nice neck for it. So that one's being sprayed. Should have some pickups coming in soon for that guitar as well. So I'm looking forward to that. And not much left to buy to actually put that guitar together. So I'm hoping pretty soon as I have enough layers of clear on that guitar, I'm going to start wet sanding it and buffing it out. And then finally playing that guitar. I'm looking forward to hearing what a 100-year-old pine is going to sound like. I think it's going to sound pretty killer. The other thing I got going on is I'm sort of rebuilding one of my guitar. I'm modifying. It's like a Charvel type Strat, and I'm putting it. It had a 3 pickup configuration, single coils. I'm gonna put in 1 humbucker, and I'm just gonna 1 tone knob a la Van Halen, and that's it. It's gonna be straight pipe. And I'm thinking about probably giving it sort of a stealth striped paint job. I'm not really sure because it's going to delay the build, but I've always wanted to do that, so I figured that would be a pretty cool thing to do. So I might just do that. And I have another guitar waiting, another Strat body waiting, and a Strat neck that I just picked up, which will probably be another build that I'm going to be working on as well. So although I'm not necessarily buying all my guitars off the shelf, there are definitely a few projects. And then I also have another body that I wanted to work on, which is another Les Paul style body, and I wanted to make a single coil, one single coil black Les Paul style guitar out of that one. So that's probably gonna wait till the summer because I don't have that much more free time. I'm running out of time, guys. Darwin says, I was told it was a UK model. I'm in California, loving the roasted maple neck the best. Loving the roasted maple neck the best. Okay. That's the Darwin is talking about a 3 PRS SE models recently. Paul's guitar in aqua, an older Blue Flame custom 24 and a custom 22 with a roasted maple neck and whale blue. The blue colors are really amazing that they're putting out now. They look really, really nice. So I assume we have quite a few PRS fans here. That's pretty cool. I know some of you like them, some of you don't. It's not for everyone. You know what I noticed recently, guys, and maybe it's just me, but I noticed that a lot of artists are selling off their gear. So I don't know if this is like a trend now because they need money because I guess they're not making money through endorsements or touring or concerts or whatever. But I noticed there's a few people that are selling off their gear. So who was it? I think did I write it down? My memory's good, but it's really short. Oh yeah, Ted Nugent is selling off his gear. So I don't know if there's a few Ted heads in here that like Ted Nugent. He's basically selling his guns, guitars, and hot rods at an auction. So I guess he's running out of money. I'm wondering which one of those 3 items or categories he's got the most of. Because Ted's really known for hunting and bow hunting, and he loves his guns, right? So apparently he's got over 200 firearms that he's selling. I'm pretty sure those are gonna sell rather quickly, especially in the States. He's got a bunch of guitars that he's selling as well, and some hot rods. So I noticed he was selling some stuff. I also noticed that Tom DeLonge from Blink 142 is also selling off some of his gear. So that's someone else. And then I saw Tommy Emmanuel. I don't know if you guys know Tommy Emmanuel, or if you know who he is. He's like a really, really amazing guitarist. I've seen him a few times in concert. He blew me away. He plays mostly acoustic, but he's like a virtuoso guitarist, this guy. I mean, if you don't want to burn your guitar after you see this guy, you're gonna, like, he just does things that I've never seen done on an acoustic guitar. It's, you know, ripping on an electric I've seen, but on an acoustic, we know it's not that easy. But this guy's also selling a bunch of his guitars off. He actually has a reverb store. The thing is, most of his guitars are like $4,000. These are acoustic guitars. It's a brand called Matin. I think they're made in Australia. They're beautiful guitars. They sound great, but they're all selling for about $4,000. A little bit more than 4,000. I'm not even sure if that's Canadian or US, but yeah, he's selling off all this stuff. And exactly, somebody mentioned who mentioned Dweezil here, but somebody Seth, you mentioned Dweezil Zappa is also selling off a bunch of stuff. The funny thing about Dweezil's reverb page is that he's actually selling one of his PRS guitars as well. I think it's a McCarty. But he was asking $19,000 for it. And it's not even like, it doesn't even have a really nice top on it or anything like that. And that's a lot of money to be asking for a PRS McCarty. But the good news is there's a 10% discount, guys. So you can save yourself like $3,000. I'm just joking. I'm just like wondering why he's trying to sell them for so much money. And I wonder how Paul feels about it. I mean, you know, obviously he's probably got an endorsement. If it's not an endorsement, it probably was given to him by Paul, and now he's basically selling it off. So who knows, right? Gospel of Mark says, my Gibson 335 is satin nitro. I'm afraid to play it for fear of damaging it due to the soft nitro. Do you have any satin guitars? If so, how do you get over the fear of playing it? Mark, that's a great question. Yeah, satin guitars are, they're great, but you almost have to expect them to get like used up. Like if you want to keep that guitar mint, it's going to be extremely difficult, especially the backside, you know, with buckle rash and all that kind of stuff. And you have to be super careful with nitro because it's thin and it also reacts to certain plastics. Like I actually had a guitar that had a nitro neck, and I had an old stand for the guitar, and it had the, you know, like the stands I have these guitars on, but it was an older one, and the little metal part that holds the neck while it's in the stand is usually covered with something. In the older models, sometimes they would use rubber, especially the cheaper stands. And that rubber actually reacts with nitro, and it actually melted the nitro, and it left a mark. Now they use rubber that is not, it's not actually rubber. They use like a foam that doesn't react with nitro, but in those days, I guess the cheaper ones still had like rubber, and yeah, I left a mark. But the cool thing is, like, you know, I like the look of the 335s that are like used and like, I'm not going to say relic, but, you know, used. But I know what you're saying. Like, I get that feeling, Mark, from the PRSs. I would hate to see one of my PRSs just like get a ding in it, because they don't. I find that guitars that are that slick don't look really nice when they're reliced, because of the fact that they look amazing, right? But they're like, you know, you have a beautiful shiny guitar and then you have a chip in it. It's like, oh man. So I don't know. I like reliced guitars, but some just don't relic as nice, in my opinion. So yeah, there's no real way around them. Unfortunately, you just have to go with it, man. Sorry for yapping on that tangent. Fat Philosopher says, Tony, Vega Trem versus Floyd Rose 1000 for metal. Honestly, I think I mentioned this. I might have mentioned it last time. I'm slowly avoiding Floyd Rose guitars or guitars with Floyd Roses, just because it's a real hassle to keep them working properly, and the cheaper Floyd Rose trems usually have metal parts that are not as hard. They use maybe different types of metal or different grades of metal, and I find like when you crank them down the way they're supposed to be, they end up getting divots and they slip. They don't stay in tune as well. Like if you're gonna go with a Floyd Rose, you really want to get like the real thing, which on some guitars is really not worth it. So for that reason, that's part of the reason why I sold the Charvel that I had. I had a purple Charvel, if you guys remember. I ended up selling it not because I didn't like the guitar, I just didn't like the Floyd. It just became a hassle for me. So the Vega Trem works really nice. It's not like a Floyd per se because it doesn't have a locking nut, so it's still gonna go out of tune. But if you really hit it hard, you can probably put it out of tune, especially if your nut is not adjusted properly. But you're still able to dive bomb, you're still able to pull up, and there's no modifications that are required on your guitar, so it's pretty much a drop-in retrofit, which is fantastic. I haven't tried any other systems that are similar to Vega Trem, so I don't know if I know there's some companies offering less expensive alternatives. You can check those out first and see if those might work for you, so that you don't have to spend so much money if you find that the price is pretty high. Sometimes it's not worth putting into a guitar that's inexpensive, but that's your call. But yeah, I kind of avoid Floyd Rose trems nowadays. You know what I mean? Tonefish says Floyd Rose 1000s are good. Block the trem so it's dive only, and love your Floyd. Yeah, but if you're gonna like block the trem so it's dive only, then kind of to me it kind of defeats the purpose. I like the floating aspect of being able to do those harmonics and pull up. Maz Electra says, I've also come to the realization that the eventual marred finish on my guitars is meant to be part of my communication with the instrument. Taken a while to get to be at peace with the concept, though. I agree. And I think like the poly finishes, again, don't wear as well. Like they typically chip off, the paint chips off, which doesn't look nice. Whereas the nitro finishes wear. You can actually wear through the paint and stuff, but it looks more natural. I don't know. It's not the same. I find when you see a guitar with a poly finish that's chipped, it just looks cheap. It looks like whereas the nitro sort of, they age nicely. You know what I mean? It's just, that's why I'm building the purple Telecaster, because I think it's going to be, the finish on that is really thin, so it's not going to take long for dings and divots and scratches to show up on that guitar, but that's part of the reason why I built that one. Hey Joe, nice to see you. Good morning. Jeff says, my Addicted to Gear mug arrived. My wife said it makes the tea taste great. Well, first of all, Jay, I'm glad it arrived in one piece, because with mugs, you never know. And I'm glad your wife thinks the tea tastes better. And I appreciate the purchase as well and the support for the channel. You guys make me laugh. You're great. Yeah, the Gospel of Mark says my Les Pauls are satin, but they're nitro, so I don't worry as much. You know what? I'm gonna just put this guitar down and grab the other one for a second. But on that thought, the other nitro guitar that I had was my Wolfgang. It was the Stealth model, and it was painted matte black, and I noticed right away that you know where your arm rubs on the guitar, it was starting to get shiny, where everything else was matte. So I don't know. I felt that eventually it was gonna be like blotchy, splotchy kind of, which I didn't really like. But that's just me. So this is the other guitar I purchased. This was a used guitar, but the guy gave me the bill and everything. It's like brand new. There's not one scratch on it. So the only thing I'm sort of having to get used to is the color, because it's kind of a salmon. It's not red and it's not pink. It's kind of in between, salmony, and definitely like an 80s color, I would say. So I originally bought this guitar because I wanted to paint it. I wanted to actually paint it in the striped EVH sort of design. Now the color's kind of growing on me a little bit. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to end up painting it. I might not. It's sort of on the fence. But I like the fact that it has the maple neck. My other Kramer has the rosewood neck. These necks are great. They really are. It plays really nice. The pickup in this is stock, which I'm not crazy about. The other one has a JB in it, which is definitely better. So probably going to replace that pickup eventually. Not much else to do unless I want to put a set of locking tuners on this one. I'm probably not going to put a Vega trem in this one. We'll see. I mean, I'm always open to mods, but plays great though. Paul says the Pure Sky is not a Timmy. It is part of. It is a part for part duplicate of the $375 USD Veram genre. It's a blindfold test. You can't tell which best value for money on the planet. But isn't the Jan Ray basically a copy of a Tube Screamer? I think I had the Pure Sky at one point, and I didn't like it. I actually sold it. I don't know. I'm not sure what it's supposed to be. Yeah, I understand the satin issue, Gospel of Mark, yeah. But hey, I mean, it is what it is. You have it now. Unless you decide to sell it, you can always do that. And before you get a dig in it, just put it on the used market, sell it, recoup your money, and just buy the other one. Quicksilver says Vega is ridiculously expensive for what is essentially a Squire Affinity skinny block. I don't agree, but yeah, you might feel that way. But once you try it, you'll see the difference. The stuff is really, really high quality. Not a Squire Affinity block at all. I mean, you got to see how this thing is put together. But I understand why people say that. It is expensive. I'm not going to deny that. But I think it's worth the money. That's just me. Let me scroll down a little bit. Rico says, Tony, I replaced my Beretta Special pickup with a Seymour Duncan SH5 and new pot for coil split. Love it. Little mods like this make these guitars really, really great. One of the other things I was considering doing with this is maybe doing like a satchel design. I don't know if you guys know Satchel of Steel Panther, but he's got like a sort of kind of a camo or maybe like a zebra. I don't know what you would call it, but it's just his guitar, I think, is black, and he has a couple of them. One's black and yellow. He's got a couple of other colors, and it's just basically kind of a design in there. And I can probably do that really quickly, and I could probably also do that in a way that it's reversible, because I got ways to do that. So that might be something, or I might just leave it as is. Tonefish says, just got a Noble's ODR Mini, sounds fantastic. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people talking about those, and the Minis are cool because they're obviously smaller, and they're definitely, a lot of people definitely like them. they get a lot of really nice comments. I actually picked up this this weekend, which is the Friedman. If you guys visit my Instagram channel, you've probably seen me playing, and here you heard me playing, and it was one of the clips I think was using this one. This is the Friedman BEOD. Great pedal, man. I'm really impressed by it. I've been playing it a bit this weekend, and it sounds fantastic. It's even got, I'm pretty sure it's got a pot in it to increase the gain. Right now it's set to not that high, but I bought it because I wanted to see how great it matched up with my Dirty Shirley, which is back there, right over there, right over there. The Dirty Shirley is a one-channel amp. There's no channel switching on that amp, but it's got like 3 levels of gain on it with a switch. But I wanted to perhaps be able to put that on the verge of breakup and then push it with this, considering they're probably going to be voiced quite similar. And I love this. And actually, I was really surprised how well it works with my Fender, which is back there, the Fender Supersonic. Playing the Supersonic on the clean channel with this sounds freaking killer. And that amplifier doesn't actually play well with a lot of different pedals. It's very finicky with pedals. And this one works like a charm. So I highly recommend the Friedman stuff. Cool Tune says, I've got the Dirty Shirley version of that pedal. And that one I'm assuming is way less gain, right? It's more probably more vintagey sounding, if I'm not mistaken. That Friedman pedal definitely helps with the Marshall itch because, yeah, it turns my Fender into a Marshall, which is fantastic. Although I played this one with the Blackstar amp, and doesn't play well with the Blackstar. Because the Blackstar is already so saturated, it already gets that sound that it doesn't really help that amp. But I'm thinking like if you have a cleanish platform, you'll definitely love that pedal. So I'm happy about that. Mike says, just picked up a set of Seymour Duncan HS5 Seth Lover Paths to replace the 498 500s in my Les Paul Classic. Really excited to see how they sound. What pickups are in your Gibson? Depends which one you're talking about. I'm actually, I got a few Gibson style guitars. They all have different stuff in it, so it's hard for me to remember which one is which. But the Tokai is a set of it's the what do you call them? The high order pickups. This is a gentleman that actually winds pickups to your spec. Amazing pickups, not very expensive. You're looking at paying about $100 a pickup, which is maybe a little bit more. Not super expensive, but he gives you exactly what you want, and I love those pickups. Really great. In my other Les Paul, I have a set of Monty PAF pickups, which are probably my favorite pickups. When it's so far out of the bunch, they really sound great. A little expensive, considering you're paying pounds and it's coming from London, but amazing. I would highly recommend the Monty pickups. They sound really open and really natural. What else? I have a set of in another guitar. I think the back is here. I believe I have a set of Celebration pickups. Or is it the Anthems? I'm losing my track of what I have in my guitars. I have to write them down. I know one of them has a set of Porter pickups, which are kind of like Jimmy Page style PAFs. Another one has the Pariah pickups, which are also a classic set of pickups as well. So there's a lot of stuff going on with my pickups. But yeah, the you're gonna like. I think you're gonna like the SH5s. and I think it's going to be a pretty good upgrade over what you had before. I think you're gonna like it. You're gonna be happy with that. I'm positive. The other thing I got recently, and I think I talked about it. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I don't even remember now. Everything's blurring together. By the way, the Friedman right now has way less gain, but that could be due to the trim pot, the setting of the trim pot. But it has way less gain than the Fireman, which is the NuX version. And I guess they're trying to emulate the Friedman sound. Just this guy. Did a review on this as well. I like this pedal a lot because it's got two different gain stages, and you're able to mix and match, and it sounds pretty good, and it's not that expensive. So it's a good option. I'm dropping stuff here. It's another option you guys have if you want to get that saturated sound. So really, that's a nice pedal to go for as well. And finally, I think the last one I got recently, and I'm going to be doing a review of this, is the Windmiller. Did I talk about this last time, guys? I don't really remember. I'm going to show you this one in case I didn't show it last time. Maybe I did. I don't really remember. So this one, the Windmiller, is kind of unique because it comes in a cool little pouch here. So the Windmiller is pretty cool. It's made by Acclam, the same company that I purchased my pedal board from. And the Acclam stuff is pretty cool because it's got a really cool way of tying in your pedals without using Velcro. They use these little sliding slots in the pedal board that you can actually just screw down and hold your pedals, so you don't have to put any kind of Velcro on it. And the cool thing about these pedals is they actually have the attachment points that would go into their pedal boards already built in. So all you have to do is just slide this in and just tighten them. You can tighten them on the side, and it holds everything down. So it's a really cool way of tying down the pedals. So for those of you who don't know, the Windmiller is actually a kind of a preamp pedal. It's not like technically a distortion pedal or anything like that. It's a preamp pedal that's designed to push your amplifier. And it's basically built on the Grampian reverb circuit. If you guys don't know what that is, check it out on, just Google it. You'll see what it is. It's basically a reverb unit that was used in the 60s, I think it was, the early 60s. And it would push the amps with the preamp in that thing would push the amps. It was actually a big unit. You can still get them today, but unfortunately, you're going to be paying almost $5,000 for them. And it basically just adds sizzle and more power. And that's, I guess, mostly associated with the Pete Townsend tone. When you're listening to stuff like the early Who sound, where he was playing through high watt amplifiers. And high watt amplifiers are typically clean, but he was getting more punch and sizzle. Well, this was part of the equation. It was that particular unit. And they basically recreated that and put it into here. So the actual pedal only has a gain knob, a low cut and a high cut, and basically an overload light. So as you're playing, this thing glows. It actually shows you how much power is being put out. So it doesn't just stay on one solid color. It actually will vary depending on how you're pushing it. And it sounds pretty cool with clean amps where you can get on that verge of breakup. So that's an interesting pedal. Definitely was different in terms of, it's different compared to what I have. And one of the sort of preamp pedals that I like a lot and I keep on my board all the time is the EP Booster. So I'm wondering if this one will slightly give me a little bit more variation, maybe some additional color. But I'll let you know. I'm working on a review on that one, so I'll make you hear it for yourself. Let's see. Guys, we're running out of time. It's already 11 o'clock, so I'm just going to take a few more questions before I got to say goodbye. But Jeff says, I was watching an old Tone Talk last night. Dave Friedman, John Sir, Pete Thorne, they were all drinking scotch. It went on for almost 5 hours. I bet Dave Friedman had a hangover the next day, probably. That sounds like a lot of fun. I love watching stuff that Dave is in and John Sir is in. These guys have a lot of knowledge. They've been in the industry for a long time, and seems like they're doing things right because they're pumping out new stuff. And okay, they're charging a lot of money for it, but it's cream of the crop. So I skipped over a few things here. So Paul says all transparent pedals use a non-inverting op amps, which creates symmetrical distortion. In short, that makes them all tube screamers. Think of it as a pig. The others are pigs with lipstick. Yeah, I know there's not that many variations on the circuit. A lot of people are basically selling the same circuit and they're just making slight variations to it. And it's the same more or less idea with amps these days. Same kind of idea. They're all kind of based on each other. But yeah, some are better than others though, and work better too. So Rico says on my iPad, your Kramer red matches your red ATG logo in the corner of the screen. Is the Kramer actually more red or pink? Yeah, it's not the same. It's not the same. Look. It looks the same, but it's actually in real life it looks less red. Depending on what kind of light you look at it in, and how the camera adjusts for the color, it's not exactly the same. It's in real life, it's more salmon. I think if it was that red, it would actually look better, but it's a variation. Quicksilver says, quit stalling. I want to see the duo time delay review. I started working on that one. The duo time is good. It's just that it's to me, it's unruly. If you're looking at setting a specific delay time with that thing, it's not easy because there's so many variations that you're getting from it. It's hard to dial in something specific. So the dual tone is great if you want to have more inspiration and you want to have something that just happens naturally, organically. It's probably a cool pedal to play with. But if you're trying to dial in a specific delay, it's a little bit of a challenge. But yeah, it's coming. It's coming. Don't rush me. Just kidding. I know you guys are super patient. I've been delaying on quite a few different videos that I'm working on here. Exactly, Mike. It's made by a clam, and if you just pet the top of it, it opens up and you can see the pearl inside. Oh man, you guys. Craner says operation installing Lawler pickups complete. So which pickups are those exactly or specifically, Craner? Vox was busy planting my marijuana plants. First things first, Vox Guitars Rock. Okay, let me just scroll down. Tony, I picked up a Fender Micro Mustang headphone amp, super cool for $99. Plus it has Bluetooth in it. Check the Anderton's review. I'll definitely do that. There's a lot of these micro amps coming out. Yeah, Seth, so sorry. I don't know if you answered the question. How did you plec your guitar? Where did you pluck it? Did you answer the question? Let me go back, Seth. Sorry. I probably jumped over your answer. I skipped over it because I'm going back and forth. So let me just scroll back very quickly. My apologies. That was a question I was curious about. Hey Maurizio, nice to see you here. I think Mauricio is also new. Okay, Seth, where is your answer? I'm going back quite a bit here. I guess I'm blabbing too much because I see a lot of. I'm gonna have to go back to a few other questions that I skipped here. Okay, so did you answer the question, Seth? I can't find it. Can you just do me a favor, Seth? Just answer it one more time. You're full-time tech. Okay, I see. So you have access to this pretty good gear. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, those Plek machines are like almost 100 grand. So SF Guitar Works. So if anybody needs a neck Plek, contact Seth. Are you going to give us an Addicted to Gear special on that discount? The only guitar that I have Pleked is is one of my Gibsons that just came that way when I purchased it. And I mean, it feels great. I don't see an issue. I wonder if I wonder how much of a difference I would see on a regular guitar. All the way in San Francisco. I'll have to fly down and come and visit you. San Francisco's on my bucket list. I have never been, and I've always wanted to go see and visit San Francisco. So hopefully one day soon I'll be able to do that when everything opens up again. So what else, guys? What else? I'm gonna have to let you guys go. So if you have any more questions, please ask them now or forever hold your peace, or at least for another 2 weeks till the next live event. Oh, best place to buy aftermarket pickguards? I usually grab them on eBay if you're not in a rush. There's quite a few, depends on what type of pickguards you want though. The Strat and Telecaster stuff is easy to find. If you're looking at something specific, it might be a little bit harder. There are a few places that will actually make custom design pickups. So if you're looking for something very specific, you can get them to design something that you want. But I usually go off of eBay. I've compared them to like the stock stuff from Fender, and very, very similar. Very similar. The only thing I gotta say is if you want to match up the holes, you're probably gonna have to go with the stock Gibson, stock Fender pickguards, because Fender's notorious for switching the location of the holes in the pickguard on purpose, so that if you're putting it into an American or a Mexican or a Squire, they might look the same, but the holes are all on different locations. They do this on purpose to be able to charge you more for the American stuff, even though it's made in the same Chinese plant. You can possibly also buy pick guards that don't have holes. So if you want to match them up to the holes in your guitar and you don't want to make new holes, you can just line them up and drill your own holes. Quicksilver's pushing me, man. He really is. I know. There's a lot of stuff that I still have to do and get out there, and that's one of them. I was planning on doing that yesterday. So yeah, it's coming. Paul says the Plek machine is in effect a lease because it works from being online to Germany. It works from being online to Germany headquarters? Sorry, I'm not following you, Paul. Well, thanks, Cushman. Thank you, everybody, for joining me again for this Sunday show. I really did appreciate you guys tuning in. I had a great time today, as usual, and I'm looking forward to the next one. Of course, even though the show is over, that doesn't mean you can't ask me your questions. If you didn't have the opportunity to ask your questions, you can actually just post them after the video is online in the comment section, and I'll answer it there. If I didn't get a chance to answer your questions, I apologize, but an hour goes by relatively quick. I did not buy the Marshall yet, Vox Guitars Rock. No, I didn't. Like I said, there's a few things that are stopping me from doing it because it's scratching my itch. One of them is the brand new Friedman pedal. So I haven't pulled the trigger on the Marshall yet, and you know, I'm still looking. I'm looking around. I'm trying to see if I can maybe source one used someplace first, but I'm being patient. Plus, Summer NAMM's around the corner. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of cool things being announced in July, so best to wait, I think, in this particular case. I'm in no big rush. Fat Philosopher says still another hour. I usually go 2 hours. I do agree, I usually go 2 hours, but I'm trying to keep them down to 1 hour to make them more manageable. So in this particular case, I'm already over my time limit by almost 15 minutes. But Maz Electra says, stay in the moment and feel everything you need to, man. Her spirit will endure for you. I lost my mom 10 years ago this month and still continue and still commune with her in spirit. Yeah, look, guys, I mean, people are with us. I mean, they're part of us. Your parents are part of your DNA. They're part of what makes you who you are today. Their influence goes way beyond just the physical. And yeah, I totally agree. I mean, just because someone's gone doesn't mean they're not there. I mean, they're in every one of us. And we have to appreciate that. And unfortunately, saying goodbye is never easy. And I dread the moment where I'll have to do the same. But I know it's coming. I mean, it's coming for everyone, unfortunately. But we have to appreciate the time that we had together with them. And Frank, I know it hurts, definitely. I could only imagine how painful it is. But you know, you have to feel that they're smiling down at you and they're with you. You know, their spirit, it will still be there to guide you, I'm sure. So hang in there, buddy. I do feel very bad for your loss, and you know, time heals, but it takes a long time. So hang in there, buddy. Thank you, everybody, for joining me today. I really appreciate you guys. Please stay safe. There's going to be more videos coming your way on the channel, so as usual, feel free to comment. Don't forget to subscribe to my Instagram, because I do put other things there. I'm not going to say on a daily basis, but, you know, regularly I will post videos of myself playing different gear, different songs, and playing through different guitars and stuff like that you won't normally see on my YouTube channel. So if you haven't already subscribed, the link is below. Do that, and you'll get some little goodies here and there to encourage you and keep you going till the next live event. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up. I give you guys all a thumbs up, and hopefully we'll be able to rock and roll in real life very soon. So stay safe, and we'll talk again very shortly. Bye for now, guys.